So, after the Canelo Alvarez fight, and what I tend to do, we do the fight breakdown on the Monday, kind of let things breathe, and then we do the fight on Friday, where it's okay, what are the fights we want to see coming out of this? And I will admit, Terrance Crawford wasn't exactly where I thought it was going to go, but apparently the Saudi General Entertainment Authority is already pushing for Canelo to face Terrance Crawford, which is insanity. And look, sports washing is at its finest right now because people are saying, yeah, we know they're bad, but this is amazing. We love what they're doing in the sport of boxing right now. And so I am going to come off as very complimentary of this matchmaking, but I do just want to state that it cannot be overstated. The atrocities that this government have committed and the human rights issues that they have, there is no way of looking around that. Now, if you are looking to break into a sport that overlooks some of that stuff, boy, boxing is the place for you, considering some of the people who have been at the top of this sport at various different points in its long and mostly illustrious history. But what the Saudi government is basically looking to do right now is something that a lot of people wanted Dana White to do for a very long time, and that's become the UFC of boxing, where they are just putting together, like, every problem boxing has, they're just throwing money at it and letting everyone else just kind of, that network doesn't work with that network. Don't care. Here's $120 million. Oh, different promoters don't care. Fight in front of me. They are absolutely bullying their way through every bit of tape that the boxing world has put up over years and years and years of corrupting itself into oblivion almost before having a resurgence here. And now this would be the peak of it. And look, they already have a relationship with Terrance Crawford. They're putting on his fight in Los Angeles on August 16th, I think. So they already have that relationship, and now Canelo, he is seeing all this that's going on, and he is not a dumb man. And he is like, yeah, I'll fight David Benavidez. Give me $200 million. Because he sees the money that is being thrown around by the Saudi government, and he knows where he can go and get that. And so I think that combined with the Saudis also entering into Los Angeles, or at least stateside, with their promotion of that fight in August, it really does seem like it is all meshing together, and Canelo now has this thing that he can really take advantage of and take his already incredible, like, he's made almost $1 billion in his lifetime in fighting. But now he could really just kind of top that one off with this potential. And it is, I can't even wrap my head around what this fight could be. Like, there is obviously a relative size edge for Canelo Alvarez, based on the last fights that these guys have had, about 20 pounds. And like that can be made up. You know, like, Canelo can come down, Crawford can come up. I have never, I'll be honest, like, I've never even really considered this as an option. Even when I've had these guys side by side, for the most part, in boxing pound for pound rankings, I have never really even considered this in terms of a fight. But what it would do for Canelo's legacy is really interesting, because this would be the second number one versus number two type. Like, I think, given what he did on Monday, Naoya Inoue is still number one pound for pound in my books. And it'll be tough to knock him off of that particular throne. But the winner of this would have a real good case for it. But this would be the second, like, top three, top four pound for pound guy of the time that Canelo would be fighting in a mega fight. He has the Gennady Golovkin fights, and I don't think those enhance the legacies much for these guys. Certainly for Canelo. That, I think, is looked more as a black eye. So this is a chance to have a fight and a rivalry that defines a fight and a rivalry that defines the career of Canelo Alvarez, and is when you think of Canelo, you think of this fight. Up to now, frustrating as it may be for him, a lot of people will think of the Gennady Golovkin fights, but this one would be the type of mega fight that would really get him that get that thing kind of wiped away a little bit. I'm not explaining this very well, but though, on the other hand, the naysayers, and there are many out there, especially after this last fight, which I was really frustrated by, because I thought, like, I like Munguia as a fighter, and I think he was a worthy adversary, and Canelo just won. a lot of people are saying it should be Benavidez or bust for Canelo Alvarez. And he is a mandatory challenger for like 18 of the titles that Canelo Alvarez has. And so you can see where, excuse me, I'm very choked up about it. You can see where people would be getting a little worked up about this because this was a fight that people wanted this last time. And now it's the fight they want in September. And now it seems like Canelo is just kind of ducking Benavidez as much as he can if he's going into this fight, which is a lot easier to say if Canelo's fighting me. But if he's fighting Terrance by God Crawford in a like number 1 versus number 3 or number 2 versus number 3 or 2, however you have the pound for pound ranking set. If you were doing a Mount Rushmore of the pound for pound fighters in 2024, those two cats are on it. And they aren't far apart either. This would be, it's almost perfect for Canelo. And it's almost perfect for the Canelo conspiracy theorists out there. Because you would say, well, Canelo now gets to say, look, I'm taking on a pound for pound great in this fight. Pound for pound great who's fought once in the last 500 days. And also, is 20 pounds lighter than me. But still, I'm fighting a pound for pound great. And so I think the Canelo haters would be able to come out and say this. But for me, this is just fun as fuck. And I would have no problem with building this up and getting this thing really excited. Again, there's a lot around it, but I think if Canelo is going to not fight Benavidez for whatever reason, if it's a challenge that he and his team are worried about, if it's another Mexican v Mexican thing, if it's money, if it's whatever, this checks a lot of boxes that boxing fans would be really interested in, and it is just insanity to think about.